It's been a month since Russia invaded Ukraine. As is known, the invasion order was first issued by Russian President Vladimir Putin on February 24, 2022. Since the order was issued, Russia has continued to bombard several cities in Ukraine, including the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. But within a month, Russia had not been able to conquer Kyiv or Ukraine as a whole. Even though Russia has deployed the ultimate bombs and missiles in the Russian arsenal, including the Kinzhal hypersonic missile, supporting the movement of around 190,000 ground troops. Then there are the Caliber cruise missiles and the Iskander ballistic missiles, which cost millions of dollars per unit. Day and night, Russia bombarded the main cities of Ukraine, resulting in the destruction of infrastructure and civilians. American officials say Russia has fired 1,200 missiles at Ukrainian targets. It turns out that one trigger for the failure of the Russian invasion was the high failure rate of Russian guided missiles, which reached 60%. Even though the failure rate of 20% is already considered high. It is this high failure of Russian guided missiles that makes the Ukrainian Air Force still act to intercept Russian fighter jets. This factor also made the Ukrainian air defense system still operational and knocked out the Russian attack helicopters. The U.S. defense official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, because the matter is so sensitive, explained the failure rates of guided missiles include missiles that fail to be fired or launched and missiles that fail to explode even when they hit the target. Citing U.S. intelligence, 3 U.S. officials said the United States estimates that the failure rate of Russian precision missiles varies from day to day, depending on the type of missile, and sometimes the failure rate can exceed 50%. 2 officials instead say Russia's precision missile failure rate is as high as 60%. One official said intelligence indicated that Russia's air-launched cruise missiles had a failure rate in the 20 to 60% range. According to the Missile Defense Project, think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies, Russia has been seen fielding 2 types of air-launched cruise missiles in Ukraine, the K-555 and Th-101. The United States believes Russia fired a cruise missile launched from Russian airspace at a Ukrainian military base near the Polish border earlier this month. U.S. officials told Reuters there was a very high failure rate during the attacks that killed 35 people. Missile attacks have become a feature of the Russian invasion, under the pretext of targeting military installations, including weapons depots. Russia has always denied its attacks targeted civilians. But in fact, the Russian precision missile strike killed thousands of Ukrainians and drove a quarter of Ukraine's 44 million people from their homes. Bombings have hit residential areas, schools, and hospitals in Ukrainian cities, including Kharkiv and the besieged port of Mariupol on the Sea of Azov. Russia, which says its military is involved in special operations in Ukraine, denies targeting civilians. In addition to the problem with the failure rate, American officials also say that Russia's stockpile of precision missiles is also running low. We think that Russia is starting to have some inventory issues with precision-guided munitions, which is one of the reasons why you're seeing increased use of what we call dumb bombs. That is also the reason Russia was forced to use the K-47M2 Kinzhal hypersonic missile. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin hinted that the lack of available PGMs prompted the launch of the hypersonic missile. You kind of wonder why he's doing this. Has he run out of precision-guided ammunition? Said Austin. Cynthia Cook, director of the Defense Industry Initiative Group at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, thinks Russia could also use biological/chemical weapons of mass destruction, amid a shortage of tactical precision weapons. The use of chemical weapons is likely a punitive strategy designed to break the will of the Ukrainian leadership and frighten civilians. It was Russia's lack of precision missiles that prompted Putin to ask China for help, as the Russian invasion lasted 2 weeks. Precision missiles are expensive. A single Javelin missile alone is around $175,000, and the Russian military may not be able to purchase enough munitions to sustain their force at this intensity for months, said Cynthia Cook. Cynthia Cook, citing the Department of Defense, said Russia is in short supply of larger PGMs, such as the Caliber cruise missile family and the Iskander short-range ballistic missile. At the cost of these millions of dollars each, Russia will have to make sacrifices in deciding how many missiles to buy and stockpile. The Russian side said Cynthia Cook had more pressing production capacity issues. Most significant is Russia's ability to procure the advanced electronics needed to make precision munitions work. Many of these come from countries like Germany, which has now stopped selling such systems to Putin. The Russian arms industry has long been aware of its dependence on the West, said Cynthia Cook. The effects of this dependency and Western sanctions will slowly start to impact Russia's ability to produce PGMs. He added that Russia was running out of precision missiles because the Russian invasion had been running for a month.